Hey guys, this is Heather from healthyveganrecipes.net. So you're always asking me for breakfast recipes, and today I'm going to show you a really easy breakfast. I make it almost every day, and the great thing is that it's the afternoon right now, and I am going to make this in advance and eat it for breakfast tomorrow. So for those of you who are pressed for time in the morning, you can do this in advance. Also, when I am on my own, I will usually make a batch to last me the entire week, because if I try to make just what I eat for breakfast, it's pretty small, it doesn't cook properly. If you do a larger batch, it works out a lot better. I'm lucky because Phil eats a lot, so I can usually make a fresh batch every morning, which is just nice because then it's hot. But otherwise, you can just make a big batch in advance and then heat it up with adding a little bit to it every morning. Anyway, super easy. I will post the ingredients and the measurements and all that good stuff over at healthyveganrecipes.net, and I will show you how to make this awesome breakfast right now. Alright, so let me set the scene for you here. It's morning. I've gotten out of bed. Not totally awake. I grabbed my pot. I've got my kettle filled with water. I usually do that the night before because my water filter takes a little while to go. Turn that on, because then it's gonna boil really quickly. Then I grab my grains. One of my favorites is buckwheat because it cooks pretty quickly, really healthy. It's actually not technically a grain, so it's gluten-free for those of you who can't do gluten or wheat or anything like that. And it's not technically a grain. It has quite a bit of protein and some awesome nutrients in it. Now, one thing to note, this is not toasted buckwheat. This is untoasted buckwheat, so you can see that it's a little bit green colored, whereas the toasted buckwheat is kind of brown. And I'm gonna pick out any little bad bits of buckwheat. I throw them in the sink. I've got a strainer in there, so they get caught in the strainer. Okay, the rest look clean. Oh, there's one little guy. These are just ones that are really brown. They're like burnt, or I don't know what their deal is, but I don't like eating them. So anyway, storing grains in a glass container is good because then they don't breathe in whatever's going on in the air and they stay nice and fresh. Then I'm gonna add some spices. And I'm going to turn this on because what that'll do is heat up the pot so that when I get the water boiling, it is ready to go. Also, it's really nice to toast the spices and toast the grains a little bit. So my favorite spice combo, cinnamon. Pretty much everybody has cinnamon, I hope. You can also use a cinnamon stick if you want. It's kind of fun. It'll float on top and then you can take it out at the end. I like the ground cinnamon because it's a stronger flavor. Then I've got some nutmeg, one of my favorite spices. And spices have nutrients in them too, so I'm adding them for flavor, but also because they boost the nutrition of my breakfast. They not only have nutrients like some amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein, they also have a lot of antioxidants, and they help boost your digestion. So in the morning, when you're not quite hungry yet, get some spices going in your breakfast and it will improve your digestion of breakfast. Last but not least, I like to add a little weird one, which is cardamom. You can find the spelling of that in the recipe. It is optional. You don't need to use it. I just like it because it tastes a little bit different than just the cinnamon and nutmeg that everyone's used to. And give it a little shake. You want the spices to get to the bottom of the pot so that they can toast a little bit. Toasting them will bring out their flavor more. Then while I'm waiting for the water to boil, I'm usually drinking some water, maybe with a little bit of fresh ginger in it, maybe some hot water to get my system moving for the morning. And then I'm just staring at the kettle waiting for it to boil. Because that works, right? They tell me it does. While I'm waiting, every so often I'll give this a shake to make sure nothing burns. The spices can burn, the grains can burn. wouldn't be a good scene. It doesn't smell too nice either. Oh, that click means my water's boiling. So what I do then is pour it into the pot. Sometimes I measure, sometimes I don't. The longer you do this with the same amount of grains, the more you'll just be able to do it by looking at it. And then check it out. It is already boiling. Stick the lid on, turn it down to minimum, and then that's all you need to do until you're ready to eat it. It's gonna take about half hour to cook, so you can go off and do whatever else you do in the morning, or if you're doing this in advance, you can just leave it on its own in the kitchen. In the morning, will usually head down and get some exercise. That gets me started for the day. You can tell I'm all about getting started in the morning because otherwise I don't have much energy to get things done. So I like to really boost my energy levels in the morning with, you know, spices, with getting a healthy breakfast to give me energy, and getting some exercise to just boost my energy level. So yeah. Let this sit for about half an hour. It's gonna simmer, leave the lid on. You can stir it occasionally to make sure nothing sticks to the bottom, but that's pretty much it. All right, so half hour later, you're showered, you're dressed, you're ready to go for the morning. Your breakfast is ready and waiting for you. If you stir it every so often while it cooks, it'll get a lot more porridgey and soft. And then what I like to do is add some ground flax or chia seed. Today I've got chia. Both are excellent for omega-3 fatty acids along with fiber, and they make a nice thick texture for your porridge. They soak up the water and make it kind of gelatinous, so it's kind of fun. Stir that in. You stir it in at the end rather than when it gets cooking because you don't want to heat the flax or the chia too much. The fatty acids will break down if they are exposed to heat for too long. But stirring them in at the end is just fine. Then you just scoop it into a bowl or a travel mug if you want it to go. And you can top it off with whatever you like. Phil and I usually do a chopped apple or pear on top. Berries are nice, bananas, fantastic. You can sprinkle some nuts or seeds on there, chop them up or whole, or even some peanut butter, a little drizzle of jam, maybe some maple syrup if you want it a little bit on the sweet side. And you can play with different flavor combinations in the porridge itself. So I did the cinnamon, nutmeg, cardamom spices. But another good idea I've seen is to use your favorite tea. You can do an herbal tea, so like hibiscus or chai would be nice. So you can use tea instead of spices. And if savory is more your thing, you could do vegetables with this as well. Just chop some cucumbers, some tomato, drizzle a little lemon juice or balsamic vinegar on top, and you will have a fantastic savory breakfast. So it's very, very versatile. You can do it with any type of grain as well. So rice, quinoa, anything like that. Steel cut oats, lovely. So I hope you enjoy it. You can keep it super simple like this. Just maybe pour some almond or rice milk on there if you like. Or you can make it into something more interesting. On the weekends, I often like to make it into some kind of cool thing, like baking it with some apple and making it into an apple pie kind of thing, or carrot cake, or date squares, or gingerbread. Possibilities are pretty much endless. Just think of your favorite type of dessert and you can make it into a yummy breakfast. That's pretty exciting. All right, I hope you enjoy. Find the recipe over at healthyveganrecipes.net, and I'll see you guys next time.